Yeah, so I'm from the RYSE, which stands for the Radical Youth Space for Educations. We're a local youth action group, I guess. We're not specifically focused on climate. In terms of kind of what we've been up to, so over the last year, we've done a series of residentials that have sought to bring together activists working across the country into Stroud to have discussions about what we're all doing. A couple of these, one of them was titled Action and Imagination, where we had a chat about the different forms of action and activism that people are taking and how we can kind of change and develop those to be more impactful. Another one was on radical ancestry, where we asked people to kind of trace back the roots of their own family and also to find ancestors of learning, who you've learned a lot from, to kind of trace back those roots of where you're organizing and where your passion comes from, which was really, really powerful. We then brought everyone back together for a summer residential, which happened across kind of a few days in the summer in some land very kindly donated by members of the community. That was just absolutely lovely. We did a rehash of some of these, some of the workshops in the residentials. So we did another one on action and imagination. Currently, we're moving our focus from engaging youth activists in the rest of the country to Stroud, which we're hoping to do through a space, and that's sort of looking to the future, what we're doing there. So we came out of Extinction Rebellion, really. So Robin, who's the team member that was supposed to be here tonight, he was one of the co-founders of Extinction Rebellion Youth. And Meg, who's my other team member, she helped found Extinction Rebellion London. So we have these real roots in the climate movement, but what we've done is we've taken the learning from that, and we are moving forward to try and tackle and talk about all the other problems that have led to our society getting to a point where we feel like we can use and abuse the earth for whatever we want and not care kind of how much we're taking care of it and how much we are a part of nature and stuff, which sounds a little bit hippie, but we have a couple we have just a couple of key insights into youth engagement as a youth for youth project, rather than a space that is made by adults for youth to come and engage in. One of the ones that's most important for me personally is this idea of autonomous organizing. So there's kind of often what we see happening is this narrative of, oh, young people have to change things, young people are going to be the force for changing things, but actually you can't, or it's sort of doesn't really work to say that the youth need to get us out of this crisis and then deny us the tools, the resources and the autonomy to try. Often the tools and resources, due to the fact that we really struggle to access them because there is a kind of disparity, are given to us on the kind of condition that we will do organizing in the way that the adults want us to do organizing, rather than trusting us to actually be able to be able to work towards a solution ourselves. And in my opinion, youth and young people are going to be more engaged with a project where they have more autonomy than a project that they're just kind of existing within and doing what adults tell them. Another point that we have is about actually a lot of the change that you're making and the change that you're asking students to be a part of, youth to be a part of, needs to change their day-to-day reality as well, rather than just kind of out there in the ether, I'm assuming something's changing. So I was talking about this with Robin earlier because he let me know he wouldn't be able to come, and he gave me some points he wanted me to say. And one of the things for him is that if you are engaging youth, say in a project of, we want to put solar panels on a school, sure, that would help the school to become like more kind of less impactful. But actually, in the day-to-day like reality of what these students and what these youth are kind of going through, it doesn't change anything. And that's one of our like things where we don't just want to look at climate and all of the science. We also want to look at the kind of social, the ways that we organize our societies that is actually quite fundamentally incompatible with kind of existing on this earth in a kind of in a way that doesn't cause climate collapse. So yeah, changing that's really, really important. Another thing that we like really prioritize is global connection. And for those that haven't heard the word before, global is a mashup of global and local. And it is basically where you make connections to like other communities that are in the same struggle as you across the world, rather than kind of going to that country's government and going, hey, can we have a group of people to talk to? So some of these examples are we're connected up with a group of people in Colombia who are currently trying to do change making there, and connected to people in London who are connected to people in Africa. And so we have like all of these like connections that are really, really important. And I think this is relevant to youth, like youth engagement and youth work, because if young people are connected to other young people who are also trying to do the same thing as them, say in Ghana or Peru or whatever, then there's this feeling of energy and a driving force that I think they lack if it's just them doing it by themselves in Stroud. And that connection is important for both sides of that. Another thing, like Megan was saying, it needs to be fun and exciting. It's really, really important that it's exciting and energizing. Otherwise, you're just not going to have a level of engagement. This could mean designing workshops to be more fun, or designing your sessions to be more like exciting or engaging. But it could also mean, and this is what we take it to mean, expanding what you are trying to change to make it, and this links into the changing the day-to-day reality, to engage them on many, many different levels. So we talk a lot about school and the role of school, and how ultimately, if you're trying to get a student involved in like again lobbying for solar panels on the roof of a school, but they're still having to do exams, and it's still like their mental health is crap, and they are like just kind of trying to survive every day and really overwhelmed with everything. Maybe they have like a home life that's really shit, and they're not doing well at school, they're under a load of pressure there, they keep getting detentions. They're not going to want to engage in climate work if their day-to-day reality is really, really stressful. So it's also looking about the other things that we can change about the organization of our schools, our societies, that make it more exciting for people and also make them more able to engage with kind of the stuff that you're putting out. And then there's another piece that is a bit more emotional, actually, which is how much can you guys as climate organizers interacting with young people emotionally connect to the idea that you cannot keep young people safe, that actually we are like heading towards, like we are heading towards climate collapse. This isn't a game that they can just kind of, it's difficult to word, but it's a hugely emotional topic, and the children, the youth that you are engaging with are not going to be able to meet you on a level playing field unless you admit that this is like actually quite scary and this is like actually really, really hard, and if you can validate those feelings of climate anxiety rather than saying that it's not real, or that, and I'm sure no one here does that, but like saying that it doesn't matter that much and that they should look after their mental health first, because sometimes their mental health is tied into the rest of it. Sometimes someone's poor mental health is due to the fact that they're constantly anxious about the climate, and just telling them to be less anxious or telling them to work on personal solutions to that is not going to solve anything, because it's so tied to this big picture stuff that is just so like unfixable by like just the people that are currently doing it. And then that, I think, engages a whole new kind of group of people who are super emotionally connected to this but struggle to get involved with the practicalities of it because it's so like removed and not this like actually quite scary topic. Polly, you put your hand up. Was that to say something, or is that just to like...
I was just clapping you repeatedly, to be honest. I'm just being your cheerleader. Ignore me.
Thank you, Polly. Yeah, so that's like all of the specifics that I have to say, really. But yeah, we're a group of young people who are trying to change things more than just like the sciencey piece, which is cool. I like the science, but there is massive social and political change needed in order to meet this crisis where it is. We work a lot, the people up in London is a group called PRALA, which stands for Planet Repairs Action Learning Educational Revolution, and that's a big acronym. It took me ages to memorize it. But the important thing for this meeting, I think, is the first bit, which is Planet Repairs, which is, it's not just this framework of kind of like hands off, we just need to stop everything. It's we actively need to work to see where we need repairs. And this, there's many kind of, they use many different kind of justices. So we've got like climate justice, we've got social justice, which have already been mentioned. But some of the other ones that they use are reparatory justice, which is this idea that we need to actually be repairing the things that we have kind of broken, for lack of a better word. Then there's also cognitive justice, which is this idea that actually when we have these conversations, when we are like in the Western world, in kind of England or America, when we're having these discussions, there is a sort of framework through which we do it that is not the same framework that kind of people in the rest of the world would have, or people in Ghana would have, or people in Namibia would have. And so understanding that, and also trying to critique the ways that our cognitive framework is framing the way that we're like thinking about things, is really important. And there's a third one, and I really embarrassingly can't remember it. Sorry, I hadn't planned to talk about PRALA.
No, that was really interesting, and thank you so much for bringing in the more difficult emotions as well. I think that's really, really valuable contribution, and also that broader perspective. I might have to cut you off a little bit, but feel free to put some concluding remarks in if you like.
Yeah, don't think I really have anything to say, but other than just trust the young people that you're organising with, and don't try and tell them that you know what's best for them, because they probably know what's best for them. Yeah, that's probably my finishing remarks. Sorry, a bit disorganised.
Oh, thank you. That was really
and
insightful.
I am really sorry. I am actually going to have to go. But I'm sorry I can't see the end of this. I would love to hear questions and ask some. But
are you okay with us putting you in touch with people who'd like to continue a discussion?
Yeah, we have like an Instagram that you can message us at, or an email. I'll post them into the chat actually. Oh, there you go. I'll post them into the chat after this. But yeah, great.
Thank you so much
for having me. It's been great to talk.
Thank you.
I hope the rest of you have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.